I am 90 years old. I live alone in a 400 square foot studio apartment above a laundromat in rural Oregon. My entire net worth, if you include the $37 in my checking account, is roughly $4,200. I never married. I never had children. I never owned a home. By every measurable standard your world uses to evaluate a human life, I am a complete and total disaster, and I have never known a single day of regret. See, you probably think I'm just some poor old woman who made bad choices. I didn't make bad choices. I made one perfect choice. And today I'm going to tell you the secret that terrifies the people who run your life. I'm going to explain why refusing to win is the only way to survive. Let me take you back to 1956. I was 20 years old and I had just been accepted to Johns Hopkins Medical School on a full scholarship. Do you understand what that meant in 1956? A woman, a scholarship, Johns Hopkins. My father cried when he opened that letter. My mother threw a party for the entire neighborhood. I was going to be a surgeon. I was going to make something of myself. I showed up to orientation wearing my best dress. I sat in that lecture hall for exactly 47 minutes. I looked around at the other students and I saw their faces. They were already gray. They looked like soldiers marching toward a war they knew they couldn't win. Terrified of failing, terrified of disappointing someone, terrified of ending up ordinary. I stood up. I walked out through the heavy double doors. I took off my good shoes and I left them on the steps of that building. I hitchhiked to the coast and I never looked back. My parents didn't speak to me for 12 years. 12 years. My mother told the neighbors I had a nervous breakdown. My father told his colleagues I'd gotten involved with a man and thrown my life away. They were humiliated. I had embarrassed them in front of everyone who mattered. But I didn't throw anything away. I saved it. I spent the next 70 years working as a waitress, a house cleaner, a bookstore clerk. I made exactly enough money to pay rent and buy groceries. Some years I made $6,000. Some years I made $11,000. I never made more than $18,000 in a single year. And when I woke up every single morning, nobody on this entire planet had a claim on my time. Nobody could tell me where to be or what to do. My hours belonged to me. See, if I had stayed in that chair, I would have handed them a blank check for my entire life. I would have spent 30 years in hospitals under fluorescent lights, stitching people back together while my own life fell apart. I would have made the money. I would have bought the house. I would have had the title on the door, and I would have died exhausted and empty. Let me tell you about my roommate from orientation day. Her name was Margaret. Margaret stayed. Margaret played the game perfectly. She graduated top of her class. She became a cardiac surgeon. She made a fortune. She bought a massive house in Baltimore. She had the career everyone dreams about. She was profiled in magazines. She gave speeches at conferences. She had every single thing society told us to want. Margaret worked 90 hours a week for 35 years. 90 hours. She missed her own daughter's high school graduation because she was in surgery. She missed anniversaries and birthdays and quiet Sunday mornings. Her husband left her when she was 50 because he said he felt like he was married to a ghost. Margaret died of a stroke at 61 years old. She collapsed in the hospital parking lot at 11 p.m. after a 16-hour shift. They found her body 3 hours later because nobody noticed she hadn't come home. Her daughter didn't cry at the funeral. She stood there with dry eyes, and she told me later that she felt like she was burying a stranger. They call me a failure, but I am 90 years old. I am still here. I still breathe. Margaret won every prize society hands out, and it killed her before she ever got to be old. You see, society plays this massive trick on you. They convince you that wealth is about accumulation, gathering things, stacking achievements. But things are so damn heavy. When you buy a house, you don't own that house. That house owns you. You have to maintain it. You have to insure it. You lie awake at 3 a.m. worrying about the furnace breaking. You stay at a job that crushes your chest every Sunday night just to pay a mortgage on a place you're never in because you're always working. It is absolute madness. I live in 400 square feet above a laundromat. If I don't like the sound of the dryers, I can move next month. When you own nothing, you own everything. And now I look at your generation and it breaks my heart. You don't just have the pressure of your parents anymore. You carry a machine in your pocket that compares your life to 8 billion other people every single second. You have these influencers, these kids on the internet, and all they talk about is optimizing. They track their sleep with computers. They wake up at 4 a.m. to take ice baths. They're building a personal brand. A personal brand. You're a human being, not a product on a shelf. You are punishing yourselves. You're trying to turn your messy, beautiful, organic life into a perfect productivity machine. You're trying to be a better battery for a system that will drain you until there's nothing left. Why? So you can get to 65 and say, well, I never enjoyed a single Tuesday, but my LinkedIn profile was impressive. Let me tell you what actual wealth is. Wealth is not dreading Monday morning. Wealth is waking up at 9 a.m. and realizing that nobody on this planet can force you to do anything you don't want to do. Wealth is the absence of that tight knot in your stomach. I don't have a retirement account, but I have spent 70 years reading novels in public parks. I have had 4-hour conversations with strangers in diners. I have watched thunderstorms roll in without guilt. I have taken naps at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday just because I felt like it. You think failure is the worst thing that can happen. Listen to me. Failure is just the word they use for people they can't control. When you stop caring about status, nobody can threaten you. When you have nothing to protect, you become free. I'm sitting here in this little room above a laundromat, and I'm giving you permission. Give up the race. Stop trying to impress people who are just as terrified as you are. If you want to quit that job that makes you sick, quit it. If you want to move to a small town and work in a library and grow tomatoes, do it. They will call you a loser. Let them. Let them have the executive titles. Let them have the mortgages. Let them have the heart attacks at 61. You take the freedom. I'll see you at the bottom, my friend. I promise you the view down here is peaceful.